This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode, what fucking number is this one? I think it's 210. Let's jump right into it. Right off the bat, Paramaribo District. You listen to episode 198. I don't know where that is. Next up, South Dansville, New York. You listen to episode 48, which was with attorney Jill Coyle. Next up, Belgrade, Maine. You listen to episode 4, which was with attorney Brent Boyer. And funny enough, next up, Seminole, Oklahoma. You also listen to episode 4, attorney Brent Boyer. The run of attorneys there. That's interesting. Hopefully those were helpful episodes. It is not too late. It's 9:26 in the evening on Monday, January 19th. I am tired. It's been a long weekend. I spent the weekend in New York City with my daughters, had a wonderful time. We went and seen a play, which was called The Play That Goes Wrong. It's off Broadway, but I highly recommend it. It's been a long time since I've laughed that hard for that long. It was hilarious. The girls loved it. It was a fantastic play. They got a standing ovation, and rightfully so. It was awesome. Highly recommend it. So I'm a little beat. It's been a long weekend. We that's not the only thing we did. We've seen a lot of the sites and I spent a lot of money, unfortunately. And because I used my travel points for the hotel, we booked a room that was, just enough for all three of us. So Dad got to sleep on the pull-out sofa, and Dad's back is fucked up. So I'm tired and my fucking back hurts. And I honestly had some thoughts about this. First of all, thank you. I've had more than one person reach out and say they have enjoyed these dating chronicles. You're welcome. I just kind of felt like this sucks, so might as well make some content out of it. And I didn't really know exactly what I was going to say or how I was going to approach it, but the feedback has been nice. I'll say weirdly, the listens are down on these episodes, but I've gotten feedback, like positive feedback, which is very strange to me. So that's why I try not to worry about some of that kind of shit, because I'm just going to fucking do what I do. And if people like it, great. If they don't, I guess maybe the next one you'll like or whatever. And I was going to skip this one, but I realized I actually don't have any that I think are worthy to put out. There was one that I thought maybe, and I can't even fucking find it. I don't know if you remember, but I don't know when it was, maybe a year ago. I broke a laptop and I lost the screen, but I was still able to get the files. At least I thought. So I don't know what happened to the fucking file, but I can't find it. So I didn't want to skip a week. So here I am. So let's talk about, and I don't know, I always think in my mind, I'm like, let's make this one a quick one so we can get, that's for a variety of reasons. But apparently I like to talk. So let's tackle year 6 this year, I guess. So if we have dated in the recent past, I'm going to try to not say mean things about you. That is not the intent here, but I'm not sure what I'm going to say. If I'm being honest, I've thought about this 1,700 different ways, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but I will say that I may say something that might hurt your feelings. Not necessarily. It's not intentional. It's not from a place of spite. I'm just going to be honest. But I'm not 100% sure exactly what I am going to say. I met someone, when was that? November? In a speed dating event. I got there early, had a drink at the speed dating event, and from what I could see in the room, there was no one there that I was interested in. And then when she was like, "Okay, let's everyone, kind of get rolling here," and I stood up and I did see someone from across the room, and I was like, "Okay, she's cute." So anyway, we matched. I had a great time, regardless of the fact that there was only one match made. I only picked one, and it was a very unbalanced. I think there were 16, 18 women and six guys, something like that. Anyway, matched with this woman, and we eventually went on a date. And back to my earlier observations about people with bad patterns and templates. This is one that I should have. There should have been it, I should have stopped it before it got anywhere. Not that it went anywhere. We went on one date, and then I got which is something I've heard a few times now. I don't feel a connection. And it's hard not to take that personal, but then again, you at least I do. I go to a 30,000 foot view and I start sort of evaluating and all the things that were said and things I learned, and I've come to the conclusion that if someone doesn't feel connected with me and there are some giant red flags, then that's nothing but a good fucking thing. So I don't know how much I really want to say, because it's not my intent. I will say there was significant traumatic things that happened in this woman's marriage that indicate a pattern that I wouldn't be able to replicate. I'm trying to say some shit without saying some shit. I'm a good person, and I wouldn't have been able to match her template or pattern in any way, shape, or form. And she was fairly self-aware because she realized that pattern repeated from her stepfather to her husband. And I'm not saying anything there other than they were both shitty people. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's no lines to read between there. So, we had one date, and she said, the morning before our next date, she was like, I'm not feeling connection. I'm sorry. I'm blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I was annoyed. And I said, good luck. I think I said, we're connected to our patterns, so I wish you the best of luck. A little bit of a shot, but I don't know that she took it as such. Probably unnecessary, but whatever. And then much more recently, I had the same kind of thing happen. I matched with someone on Facebook dating, went on a date, and got the same. Although I got this very long text that was absolutely unnecessary, in my view, telling me how wonderful I am, but that she didn't feel connected to me. So, and if you're listening, and you may be, there's no need for you to do so. And I'm not bitter. I mean, I'm annoyed at the process of it all. I'm annoyed at the consistent. I want to be careful with the word rejection, but consistent. Yeah, I guess it is rejection in a way. I mean, it is. I don't like calling it that because it's not. It's not about me. Um, and when you go through these things, you try to come up. Your brain tries to find a story, a narrative, right? Narrative therapy and story, and the book Rising Strong by Brene Brown. These are things that I've talked about many times. And my brain's trying to find out what is the story here? Why do people keep not choosing me? And it's trying to find patterns of my own, right? Patterns that are being created currently. And I'm trying to tell a story that isn't, it's my fault. There's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I mean, there may be something wrong with me, but I don't want to tell myself that story. And so I'm trying to find consistencies between some of these women to make this narrative that it's not me, it's them. And there are absolutely some things that are consistent, but that's also lazy, if I'm being honest. Normal, don't get me wrong, but it serves me no good to just lump them together and be like, it's their fault. I have to look at my own actions and all those kinds of things. And that's, I think we're going to see some more of that in some of these episodes in the near future with more exploration of me and my shit. So my point is, I don't want to put it all on them, but I am sort of seeing some things that are patterns of a sort. Now, this speed dating person, and I don't feel like giving names. I don't want to give real names, and I don't want to. I'm too fucking tired to make up fake ones. So, speed dating girl. I think if what she said was true about her marriage, she left with good reason. The next person, we'll call her Facebook dating girl for now, has some and there's some overlap there in terms of templates, in terms of patterns, but not, I didn't hear anything, and she even said there wasn't anything that would have been just cause. And I think there's a whole lot of us that of you and me, I'm included in this, that are listening that can relate to this. There isn't anything that this guy overtly did to cause the divorce. In her own words, and can't say I'm quoting specifically or accurately, but the general consensus was he didn't beat me, he didn't cheat on me, he was a good father. It wasn't about him, it was about me. And if that doesn't sound like a whole lot of us out there and how what we were told, I don't know. For me, that's mostly true. It and that, how sad is that? There's a lot I can say here, and it's funny because episode 43 or 44, I think it's 44, the Walkaway Wife episode, the one that sounds like shit because I used the wrong microphone in response sort of to Sean Whalen's episode, which was 43, I'm pretty sure. That my editor guy, the clip pulling editing guy, he pulled clips for that one recently, and I deleted them once I saw them because I sound so bitter and pissed off in that one. And so I don't want to be that person. I hope that these women, these walkaway wives, I hope that they find the happiness they're seeking. And from what I can tell, they're not finding it. I'm not saying that means they should have stayed. Maybe they should have left. I don't know, but it seems to me that they left for happiness and they're not finding it. My ex is, to my knowledge, still single. I don't know. And people have always asked, does she listen? I think so. I can see locations. I think so. I don't know why. They're weird to me, but as far as I can tell, she's single, and I don't. Maybe she has found her happiness, but I've seen her out on dates, so she's still looking. You're right. And same with this woman that I just had a date with. She is still looking. She was complaining about the previous two people she dated, and how those obviously didn't work out. So, they say statistically that single women are happier than single men. And I'm not the kind of person who looks sideways at data. I generally try to, obviously you have to, there's nuance there, and you have to make sure what's the source, and how they get the data and all that kind of different stuff. But there's a part of me that wonders if that's some bullshit that these women are telling themselves, and therefore they have to tell the world, "Oh no, I'm much happier." But why are you dating it? Why are you still trying to find someone? Like if you're completely content and happy, I don't think you'd be looking, right? Maybe I'm wrong here. Again, I'm trying to tell a story, create a narrative that um, doesn't revolve around me being the problem. But not that I'm perfect, clearly, and I have much more work to do, and I'm excited to keep doing it, to be quite honest with you. I continue to work on myself so that I can work on or develop things to help you guys out there. So if I can find things that help me, then I can provide them to you, not only through the podcast and interviews and stuff, but through programs and coaching and all that kind of good stuff. I do really enjoy doing that. And I'm the best guinea pig there is, because whatever you're going through, I am as well. I want to, this is going to sound bitter. I'm going to wrap up with this because not only am I tired, my back hurts, but it's also fucking freezing. So, I'm going to go back just to make this point about walkaway wives. I really sincerely hope you find your happiness, and I do, and I also hope, and I don't think you're going to be finding it with me. Just so we're clear, not that anyone probably gives a fuck, but there were things that were said during that first date, or the only date with Facebook dating, that were triggering a little, and also would need to have had further discussion. So I don't think someone who walks away from a marriage that they said vows to and committed to, who was a good person, her words, suggests to me a lot of things, but it certainly could suggest that you would do it again because your happiness is paramount. And here's the thing that I want to finish on. And I'm being very sincere when I say this. I do hope you find your happiness, and I hope that the act of deciding and taking action to only see your children 50% of the time doesn't ever come back to bite you in the ass and make you feel like a shitty mother. I hope it doesn't. It should, I think, in some ways. I really do. And again, I know that's a bit bitter and angry a little bit. But I just don't understand how you can walk away from your children and your marriage when there's nothing going on that isn't solvable problem or solvable issue or whatever. And I get that men are terrible communicators and all that. But if that's true, and it is to some degree, what is it that you're running to exactly? I hope that you don't look back and regret what you've done. I sincerely. I mean, maybe I do, if I'm being honest. Maybe there is a bitter part of me that hopes that you feel the pain that we felt, that you feel the pain that you put everyone through to chase your own happiness. And I know that sounds bitter, and I don't. This is why I didn't. I almost considered, like, I don't know if I said this. I think I did. I was considering not even talking about this because I just don't understand. And I never will. And that's okay. And that doesn't prevent me from building my own new, better life. It doesn't. It doesn't prevent me from finding my own happiness that's genuine and is dependent upon others. In some ways, right? Not in all ways, but I want a partner I can rely on and depend on, not one that is chasing something external. That's all I got for this one. Hopefully it wasn't too bitter. I don't feel bitter. It's gonna pull out the Van Halen in mine. I don't feel turdy. I just feel like that's reality. Maybe I'm wrong, and I will continue to examine and look at myself and look for answers and look for healing. And I hope that same thing for everybody, no matter what you have or haven't done in your life. We all deserve to heal. We all deserve to feel worthy because we all are worthy. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.